The man who lost millions, but found something greater. What would you do? If you made millions when you were young and lost every single cent before you turned 60, would you give up on life, or would you find the courage to start again? This is the story of a man who had everything, wealth, fame, power, and then watched it all disappear. But in losing his fortune, he discovered something far more valuable. This is the story of Mr. Tony, and his story might change the way you see success forever. More than 40 years ago, Tony was the pride of his village. He was brilliant, confident, and fearless. While many young men were still searching for direction, Tony had already found his. At just 25 years old, he moved to Lagos to start a trading business. He sold electronics, imported fabrics, later even cars. Business was booming. Money came faster than he could count. Within 5 years, Tony owned 2 houses, 3 cars, and a large shop in the city. People admired him everywhere he went. Friends surrounded him constantly. In every room he entered, laughter followed. To the world, Tony looked unstoppable. But sometimes the fastest rise hides the most dangerous fall. Tony believed life was meant to be enjoyed, and he enjoyed it without limits. Every night was a celebration, luxury hotels, expensive drinks, endless parties. New friends appeared every week, people who loved his money, his generosity, his lifestyle. Older relatives warned him. "Save for the future," they said. "Be careful who you trust." But Tony laughed. "Money will never finish," he said proudly, "but money listens to no one. It comes quietly, and it leaves quietly too." The first signs of trouble were small. A business partner made a bad decision. A shipment got delayed. A deal collapsed. Tony ignored the warning signs. He trusted the wrong people, signed contracts he barely read, borrowed money to maintain the lifestyle he had grown used to. Then the economy changed. One shipment was lost completely. Another partner disappeared with millions. Suddenly, the phone stopped ringing with opportunities. Instead, it rang with creditors. Within 2 years, everything collapsed. The cars were sold, the houses were taken by the bank, the shop was closed. And the friends who once filled his parties, they vanished faster than the money. For the first time in his life, Tony was completely alone. At 58 years old, Tony returned to his village, not as the wealthy man everyone remembered, but as a man who had lost almost everything. Some people whispered when they saw him. Some quietly laughed, but one person never judged him. His mother. She looked at her son, older, humbler, quieter, and she told him something he would never forget. She said, "Money lost is painful, but a life wasted is worse." Then she asked him one question. "What will you do with the years you still have?" That question changed everything. Slowly, Tony began helping young traders in the village market. He shared the lessons he had learned the hard way. Save your money. Choose your partners wisely. Never let success make you careless. Young people began gathering around him every weekend under a mango tree. They listened carefully. Not to a rich man, but to a wise one. One day, a young trader approached him. "Mr. Tony," he said, smiling, "because of your advice, I avoided a bad business partner." Another said, "I started saving because of you." Another said, "You changed my life." Tony realized something powerful. He may have lost his wealth, but he had found something greater. Purpose. One evening, a young boy asked him, "Mr. Tony, do you regret your past?" The old man looked at the setting sun and smiled. "Yes," he said softly. "But regret is only useful if it becomes wisdom." Then he said something the boy would never forget. Losing money made me poor. But losing my pride made me wise. And that is how the man who once wasted millions became something far greater than a rich man. He became a guide, a teacher, a living reminder that it is never too late to rebuild your life. Because as long as you are still breathing, your story is not finished yet.